Welcome back to the show. During the pandemic, small business communities suffered tremendously. Many businesses lacked the digital presence they actually needed in order to be able to sustain. And in January of 2021, the original Coloure Collective was created to highlight, engage, and promote Black creatives and minority-owned businesses. Joining us now to share a little bit more, we've got the co-founder of the original Coloure Collective, Sara A. Crawford, and Andre Wright Jr. And thank you both for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Sara, I will go with ladies first, and I gave a little intro into how you guys first got started, but give me some more details as to this lack of digital presence that you wanted to really fill.
So I work with small businesses all the time, and what I noticed more so during the pandemic was the fact that a lot of businesses were used to dealing person to person, very close, intimate, in-person type of communication, engagement. So when the pandemic hit and we weren't allowed to interact person to person, it kind of brought a lot of businesses to a halt. And they were trying to figure out what the next steps were or what they should be doing. They just didn't know. So a lot of them didn't have virtual presence. They didn't have websites, or they weren't up to date. They didn't have like e-commerce components, things of that nature to really help them sustain. And most of their social media accounts were kind of dry. That's what I'll say, for a lack of. So when Andre came to me, I'm just going to kind of segue. When Andre came to me about doing a photo shoot, we built an all-Black team. All of the members of the team were either entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, or small business owners. And it just made sense moving forward. So once we finished that shoot, there were photos, there were BTS videos, which is behind the scene videos. And then there were final videos that you could use for promotional purposes or commercial purposes. So it just kind of made sense, and we just kind of started building from there. People got wind of what we were doing, they wanted to be a part of it. And it's just kind of been going up from there.
Yeah. And Andre, you were the photographer, captured a lot of that. And let's talk about behind the scenes. Take us behind the scenes for a moment and tell me what you were looking to actually capture to bring forth.
Well, basically, this is more so like an editorial type style shoots we've been doing. We teamed up with BP&G, who are basically running Wilmington, Delaware, and building a lot of great infrastructures and buildings. And so these places that we teamed up with, they're very elegant. So some of them are like one, I'll say in particular, Hotel DuPont, which give us that great Gatsby type vibe. Mm-hmm. And with the model that we had chose, Bar Chief, Bar Chief, that we went with a Black-owned designer, and we had like this beautiful plaid outfit, elegant room. So like more editorial type style. So every shoot, every place that we're at, we're always looking for that editorial vibe, and just building and just giving that true Blackness, kind of like, the old jet magazines back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But just bringing that whole Blackness and just Black beauty, Black team, everything all Black, just letting them know that we're here and we're not going anywhere. And yeah, we're creating those elegant vibes.
And a positive platform, Sara, for people to be able to actually see people who are really doing it, and sometimes just really don't have the opportunity to showcase themselves at a higher level. So talk to me about the buy-in when you really started approaching these small businesses. What was the initial buy-in on their behalf? Was there resistance, or were they very much like, oh, we need this?
So not much resistance. I don't think I've had any resistance yet. I think more or less timing is probably an issue. Like, the days we would schedule things, that's the only level of resistance. Mostly when I was approaching people, like I said, I work with entrepreneurs and small business owners all day. So I have like a whole list of them, and I know people from just being an entrepreneur myself as well. I would tell them what we were doing, let them know how it was going to benefit them. I think it's important to tell people up front what they're getting. And that it was an easy buy-in, especially, like I said, because we weren't working person to person anymore. We were literally relying on social media and everything digital on a computer, on a small little device, or on your phone. That's all you have. So people were, wanting to sell things, and they were wanting to connect with their customers. And it was like a whole new world for some people, because they were used to maybe vending and going out in person and doing things. And now they're behind a computer screen or their phone. some type of digital device, and they're now engaging in a different type of way. I think when we're also thinking about doing the photos and the videos, we're thinking about how does that appeal to a consumer and or a client, or a potential consumer or client. So those are the things we're thinking about when we're putting things together, so that it's even more beneficial to those individuals that are buying into, the Coloure Collective.
Yeah. Andre, what are you looking for when you're out there shooting and you're really trying to capture this for a small business? Because, sometimes it can be a little bit challenging given the fact that a small business is just that small. But how do you go about navigating and bringing to life that business?
Well, it depends on what business it is, but basically, I just go in and try to figure out what the client needs. Because you got to know what they need to come up with a really dope solution. But mainly just look for the location, look for the wardrobe, the makeup, all those elements apply, and then the model as well. The type of camera that I'm gonna use, all those elements. Whenever I go into thinking about conducting a photo shoot, period. And then, like I said, it's basically if whatever product it is. So sometimes I might shoot food, might shoot a model, but but yeah, but basically if it's food photography, yeah, basically just go into just thinking about how the placement of the food, just all those elements apply. And then after we execute it, and then basically go back in post-production and then start editing, making sure them colors is right.
Yeah. Colors got to be right and tight. That's right. All right.
Yeah. So basically, you want to make sure that you're giving the client a beautiful image, but also it fits their brand and also with their target audiences as well. Because at the end of the day, a lot of clients want something that they like, and it's not a problem with it, but you also got to think about your audience. Because at the end of the day, you want to make profit off of whatever product or anything that you're selling.
Right. And Sarah, I know this hits close to home for you because as a small business owner, your family was involved in small business, and this kind of was a catalyst for actually going forward with this. So talk to us about your family dynamic and how that really served as a little bit of an impetus to say, hey, let's do this.
I feel like I was just talking about, I'm always talking about this actually, but I feel like I was just talking about this last night. So my family is probably the foundation and staple of my entrepreneurship. And we were talking about legacy last night. And I think I believe that I am a product of a legacy. My family left me great legacy. So I am the niece of the first African American printer in Delaware. And my grandfather owned a restaurant and convenience store. My dad owned a window cleaning business, and my mom owns a catering business. So I kind of think it was inevitable that I was going to have entrepreneurship somewhere in my blood, small or large. But watching them over the years, and just watching them learn lessons, and me learn lessons with them, and they made me very knowledgeable in the forefront of the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur, because it's not always so glamorous. It can be, but it's not always glamorous. But you definitely have, you have your good days and your bad days, but the foundation of what a business should look like, and the essential things that you need in place, I definitely learned from my family. So like I said, I think it was inevitable. And what I didn't realize until probably maybe about 7 years ago is how much I love to be an asset and to be in the forefront of helping the small business community and helping them grow and sustain, especially in such a prevalent time.
Yeah. And I mean, with COVID, the way that it's been, the one business that has really seen, being highly decimated has been small businesses, right? And
Absolutely.
when you think about the fact of just to be able to survive, and now that you're talking about survival, you're also talking about trying to create a presence, because in the midst of trying to keep your business afloat, you need to know the people out, you need people to know that you're still out there and you're still surviving. What's it like for you both? And just to be able to fill that gap of helping people not just survive, but now to be able to thrive?
There's something that I like to always say is that, when you wake up in the morning, you don't want to go to a job that's boring. Some people do. And, sometimes, like you said about survival, survival of the fittest. But I also believe that walking in purpose is important. Everybody has a purpose in life. That doesn't mean you have to be an entrepreneur. Maybe your purpose is to help grow other businesses. But I believe that one of my purposes is to make sure that I'm aiding in being a resource to build the gap for a lot of these entrepreneurs and these small businesses, making sure that they have what they need, especially for our Black and Brown communities, because we're not always at the forefront to be able to receive those resources. We don't have access to them, or we're just not able to reach them. So I think I really believe that I walk in purpose every day, and with that purpose, I'm able to aid in helping them in my daytime job, on my side job, just in life, period. And I really think that's what's really important, and that's what's been important to me, and that's what when I'm able to talk to a small business owner, or I'm able to fill a void of something they need, it's a success. When they win, I win too. So I kind of feel like that's like the end all be all for me. Oh, we're winning today because they got everything they needed, and I'm going to keep helping them. I never, I'm always going to be there to hold their hand, but it makes me feel really good. It makes me feel like I'm definitely living in my purpose.
Well, yeah. Well, Sara, Andre, want to thank you. You guys are doing great work out there in Wilmington. Keep representing, keep bringing businesses to the forefront. And thank you for the work that you're doing, because it's really filling a much needed gap that we have in our society, particularly when it comes to Black small businesses. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.